now I get so little product and so little at pre-releases. I can't even like give out extra packs at the end. My favorite, absolute best part of owning a game store is pre-releases because it brings all the people out of the woodwork that I haven't seen in like since the last pre-release. Not because it's valuable, right? But because they like Pokemon and they think it's cool. Other than pre-releases, for Pokemon, I'm having the lowest attendance I've ever had because people are just not interacting with it in a fun way anymore. It's all transactional. It's all based on the value of things, and it feels bad.
So you were mentioning you had 2,000. It was like 2,000 cards you had to go pick up.
No, did I say 2,000? I meant 2,000,000.
Oh my! Oh,
Two, yeah,
maybe I
two
read
million.
that wrong. I'd have to check the email again to see how many
I maybe even put that. I was like,
it was.
no, I would never like put
Oh no, you were right. You did say 2,000,000. I don't know what made me think 2,000.
because that's a reasonable number. That's like a realistic number. 2,000,000 is an insane number that nobody should have to have, and that's what I did. Uh, yeah. So I had to go get a box truck, like a big boy box truck, not like a small one, because I thought it was only 2 pallets. It was 4 pallets of 5 row boxes. So yeah, scary. Those big trucks, big scary trucks.
I can
You're way up
imagine.
there. It's a really big pain in the butt. But no, yeah, somebody locally, 2.5 hours away had some bulk, and I was like, yeah, I'll take it.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. That's hey, more supply for you, more that you can sell.
Yeah, I said, I'd be looking for like 250,000. Just try to figure out. I'd want to see how fast I can get through it.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I got it all palletized already. It's 2,000,000 though. If you want to do that, I was like, oh, sure, why not? What? Let's get it. Let's go get it.
Yep. Oh,
So
better to have the opportunity to get the product than like not having anything at all.
yeah, we had just moved around the back to like make it organized. So I had
Mhm.
all my Pokemon would be together, and all my Magic would be together, and all the Yu-Gi-Oh was together. Now that's all a big mess again. So because I doubled the amount of bulk I had back there. So now I have like 4.5 million cards in the back of my store.
That's incredible.
It's
That's
not. It's
incredible.
not. It's not incredible. There's a lot of adjectives and words you can describe it. Incredible is not one of them, but
I guess
it's
from a sheer size perspective, like just from me as a consumer, just thinking of all that, but I can imagine the nightmare of filing, maintaining, knowing where everything is. That's a tremendous headache.
oh, that's not a thing. Yeah, 2 million. Like if my inventory was 2 million cards, I'd be losing my mind. Uh, yeah, but it's job security, I suppose.
Oh yeah.
Stuff to do.
Hmm.
Never, never wanting for uh employees to have something to do.
Oh yeah. With that many cards and plus what you already have, yeah, it's like there's never a dull moment, right?
Yeah, it was 12 high on a pallet. There's 6 rows. That's 72 5 rows on a pallet. There's 4 of them. So 288 of the 5 rows, which is
Mhm.
actually 7,000 cards, not five, because they're made for sports cards, right? So
Mhm.
uh, just doing the math there. So it was actually 2,016,000.
Wow, that is something. That really is something. But yeah, one of the things I actually wanted to know about was like how Cardinal Gaming came to be
Sure.
and like what your origin story is.
Yeah. So I guess it would start out like so many of us 30 somethings did. Grew up as a kid, liking it with the cards, taking them to school, trading, doing all that kind of stuff. My kids, I inherited some kids when I got married, and they found my old collection, and then we started playing. This would have been like late black and white era, kind of like Phantom Forces, kind of like time frame to give you like an idea of like when it was. Um, they had a lot of fun with it. We had fun. My youngest son and his friends, we went and played at a local store, and then back then Nationals was in Indianapolis, and we're here in Louisville, so it was a quick little 2 hour drive to go to Nationals. So we did that one year, which was fun, which is kind of like a great high level event that they actually got to do. So that was super awesome. Um, So my kids were into it, and then they inevitably got tired of it and moved on to something else. And I was like, well, okay, now I have all these cards and all these stuff that we've opened and stuff. What do I do with all these cards? And I started selling them on eBay and doing that kind of stuff. I was like, oh wow, people actually want this stuff. And even early on, I was selling bulk in like the old small flat rate boxes and shoving
Mhm.
those full of bulk and sipping those off. I was like, okay, well, this is pretty easy, pretty doable. I guess I'll just start buying some collections from folks. Craigslist was a thing back then. Hopping on Craigslist and buying off there and meeting up with people, buying collections, flipping cards, buying bulk. Even back then, bulk was a big thing that I was doing just by myself personally. Um, Also doing like video games and stuff on the side as well. Always the kind of stuff too. Just stuff that I knew about and had interest in. Um, Met up with my business partner, my future business partner at this point, because he was saying he wanted to open up a game store, and he knew Magic, and then he was already doing uh, pretty decent numbers on eBay with video games. So him doing video games and me doing a little bit of video games and Pokemon, and him knowing Magic, it was kind of like a no-brainer to be like, okay, let's fusion dance this together and make a hybrid store is what they kind of call them when they do more than just cards. Uh, so that's what we started doing. Got a little office space. Uh, it was probably the guy said it was like 400 square feet. It was not 400 square feet of office space. It definitely was not. It was very small. Multi like fractionalized rooms and stuff, and we just had stuff everywhere, like everywhere. And then quickly outgrew that. Went to a 700 square foot store, just big enough to where you could have two lines of just like the glass display cases. If we wanted to, we could put tables down the middle, just barely, if we wanted to, but had that space, moved all that junk in there, kept buying, growing, stacked stuff to the ceiling. It was crazy. Had to grow and go into another store. The next store I think was 1,800 square feet, which is a good size for most game stores. Game stores is typically in that 15 to 2,000 square feet range. And then we had an opportunity where a local like book and music store closed down. And they had like cards and stuff too, and video games as well. They closed down the street, 7,000 square feet, and we were like, well, here's an opportunity here. Do we want to do it? That was the big question because it was at the time very expensive. That's
Right.
probably 2.5 times our rent and expenses but obviously huge space that we ended up going and doing it. Needed a ton of work. It took a long time to get that thing to looking good, but we finally got there. Moved into that spot, and that is our kind of been our base operations now for. We've been there for 7 years now. Well, no, 8 years. Sorry, 8 years. Out of that base, and then we have since added another store on the other side of town. So I have two stores now here in Louisville, and my business partner left. Said he was just done, wanted to move on, do something different. At the beginning of this year in April. So since May on, it's kind of just been me, and I do have a silent partner that helps me and does some stuff. But as far as like running the day to day and the operations, it's me. I'm the guy. So that's been a challenge. Uh, Keeps me very busy. Having to do a lot of things that I used to have help to do, and now I don't have help to do. So trying to learn how to do all the HR, taxes, all that fun stuff that goes with running a business, and that's where we're at right now. So a very long-winded origin story, but that's where we're at. That's how we got here.
No, that's fantastic. I mean, but the side of it that I'm sure is not so fantastic is having to do everything, essentially all by yourself right now. So, what has been the biggest challenge with that in particular? I know it could be a number of things.
Yeah, I mean it's when you have somebody that says, "Okay, I'm going to deal with this," you deal with this. You run the stores, which has always been my traditional thing. Is I've been running the stores, the day-to-day operations. If I have to cover for somebody, I'll go. It's me that's going to go out there, as opposed to what my business partner would do, right? Because we do repairs as well. So he was doing video game repairs and the taxes, the HR, all the higher up stuff. Yeah, just having to do all that, juggle all this at the same time. Um, the biggest challenges being, you know, sure I have managers and I have people that run both my stores, and they run the day to day, and they do a great job. I'm not saying that at all, but no one has the vision. No one has like what's in my head, right? Of how I like picture the stores. So translating that and the communication of that to my managers, trickling that down to the employees, the floor employees, the guys that interact with people every day, the most important people that need to know, like what are we looking at? What's the scope? What's the vibe? What do we want to put out there in the world, right?
Right.
Because those people interact with me, but it's like a treat to come see me now because I got so much going on. I love talking to people, but it's just I have so much going on. The communication of and passing that information along the chain so that everybody makes sure we're on the same page. Huge challenge. I have I just hired 2 more employees. I have 14 employees now between the
Wow.
2 stores. So it's very difficult to make sure we're on the same page. Any 14 people to put them 14 people on any sort of same page, and have the same knowledge and get that information. Extremely difficult. Uh, when it's your vision that you're trying to project and share with people, it can be very hard. And part of the thing that I always say is no one's going to care as much as I do, right?
Right.
Floor employees, it's a job. Yeah, sure, they love the store. Obviously, they're there, right? If they wanted to make more money, they could just go work some other places, sure, right? I think it's pretty. It's not like a crazy thing to say that a small business game store is probably not going to be the highest paid opportunity out there. If you
Of
want to go work in
course.
a warehouse or something like that and bust your butt and sweat and work in the elements, you probably make a lot more money, right? But they have a passion for it. They do care. That's why they're there. But no one's going to care about the business and how the business is perceived as much as me, right? So it's kind of is on me. And for a long time, it's always been if I don't do it, who will? And I'm trying to unteach myself or break that chain of saying, okay, no, I can tell people this is what I want to see happen. Please go do it. Make it happen, please. And that has been the most difficult part for me. Is I'm super hands on. I am. I'm Boxer from Animal Farm. If you're like familiar with the reference, the Clydesdale that would just keep working, 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 working. Um, Even here recently, I've had 10, 12-hour days. you know, uh, do I need to be doing that? Probably not, but I care and I want to put in the work and I'm gonna do it. So that's that's the struggle and that's the of disseminating that, making other people know what I want to see happen and have them do it, and sharing that with them and having that communication is definitely the number one hardest part of running a small business that is in my head, right? Of how I
Mhm.
want it to be, but to have 14 people make it happen, extremely difficult. So it's always a challenge. Every day is a challenge. So that's the hardest part for sure.
Is it the passing down? So I'm guessing, do you communicate it to the managers of the store, and then their job is to communicate to then delegate whatever tasks need to be done out from there?
Sure. I mean, yeah, we have like daily tasks and stuff that we have right that we're written down and people are expected to do. But yeah, even just like as far as like, hey, I want to really focus on building community, right? So let's for the next 3 months, let's run some events, maybe at a loss, or give out some extra pricing or something like that to get people and see if we can get and grow a community, right? Um, Employees don't know that. There's no way for them to be like, hey, I'm just going to run this event and give away this kind of pricing. They don't understand the why, right? They see, okay, I want you to do this. That's the what, but the why part of it, understanding the why is important to pass along. So whether they get it from me or from the managers, knowing how to do something, awesome. All my guys are great at that. Knowing why I want it to happen, that's the type of stuff that I want to communicate so that they understand what we're trying to build here. Like, what's the end goal, or at least what's the larger goal of these micro tasks that I'm just telling them to do, right?
Right.
But if I don't tell them why, they don't understand they won't understand what we're trying to build. So that's another thing that's like super difficult, and it takes time. The only way to make sure that they hear it is to take the time to explain it to them. And whether it's from the managers or from me, I try to talk to people as much as possible. But obviously, it's 14 people. Like, how am I going to talk to 14 people in a week? And try to have the same conversation with people? It can be hard. So, um, yeah, it's a lot of we use Discord, we use other type of time management stuff to try to like share ideas. I have like a Discord channel that's just like it's called Mason's Flow State, where I just like throw ideas and just like so people like understand like where I'm coming from on things, just to like better try to communicate that type of stuff to them, so they understand like not just the what, but why. Why are we doing this?
Can you share with me, please, like one of the whys that are like how you said it's up in your head and then trying to communicate to them? What would be one of the whys right now of like maybe one of the ones that are top of mind
Sure. I
that
mean,
you're
here
really trying to work on?
I'm gonna go to this channel and be like here and just be like I'm gonna go over and be like, okay, Mason's Flow State. What are we talking about here? Um, right now, I want to invest money into the stores. Like right now, when you walk in, it's great. People say the store's clean, it's organized well, it looks good. What we're severely lacking and have for a long time is branding. Is like I want when you walk into the store and you see like the card section, you want to have like little signs that say, "Hey, this is where the Pokemon is. This is where the Yu-Gi-Oh. This is where the Magic is," and I want the signage to be branded right. So I want like cohesive branding throughout the store and stuff like that. So I'd like to work with a designer or somebody that's in graphic arts to develop like a graphics package for us to use in store, on social media, on the website, all these places that people are going to interact with my business. I want it to all feel the same. I want it to feel cohesive. So that's like the current thing I'm currently working on. And when people see me walking around with the measuring tape around the store, they're like, okay, Mason's just going crazy again, or just doing whatever he does. But explain to them, hey, I want to take and spend thousands of dollars to like make the stores feel like an actual brand instead of just like a hole in the wall store that, which is great, and we've done great with that type of mentality. But it's like leveling up. I wanted to make the store level up in a sense of like when people see certain things or they think of certain stuff that they associate our brand with it, right? Instead of not
Mhm.
just like whoever is closest or that when they Google whatever name pops up on the top spot, right? Building that kind of stuff, and I think that helps with your identity, the community identity. If I make these little jerseys, which I do with for some of my Pokemon guys that do great jobs and have been with me a long time, when they go to regionals and stuff, they can have my logos and all the stuff, and they represent my store. Having like the idea of like what does this stand for, kind of thing. What are they proud of when they wear it? Like all that stuff, super important. Nobody is going to have a single clue about any of that stuff unless I put it on in writing and explain, right?
Mhm.
So that's the type of stuff. Like right now, store's doing great, right? We're doing day to days, everything's fine. Week to week, month to month, we're doing okay. We're doing great. Um, how do we level up again? To use that phrase, how do we level up the business? And this is a large part of it because I do in the amount of YouTube that I've done, people know me. I'm saying, and this is what voice actors call it. They call it situationally famous. Like in a room full of game store owners, people know me. Like I'm more recognizable than the average person, right? But I'd like to get to a point where people see me and they're like, oh, that's the dude from Cardinal Gaming, owns game stores. Like, I'd like to get to that point and just get people to recognize the brand and me, I guess, by association of that, but just like to build, for not just here in Louisville or in Kentucky and Indiana area, but nationally, people recognize and know the brand and become familiar with what we stand for and that type of stuff. And all that stuff is important to build up, and it takes time. But graphics is probably like the first place you start, right? So that's kind of like the first thing that, to building a bigger, more national kind of idea and identity is make sure everything's cohesive. Trying to work on a mascot. I don't know if I might want to do a mascot necessarily, but it would be cute and fun. But I don't know yet. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you're going for recognizability, trustworthiness. I
Sure.
mean, I figured that's probably why you started your YouTube channel. I mean, that's how I found out about you and your store and to reach out. And I
Sure.
like the videos that you do. I enjoy them. And I think it's a smart way to go. And was that one of the pieces in that recognizability was making the jump into YouTube? Like, how did that start?
At the time, not really. That wasn't really the point. YouTube came about because, um, and even to this day, so I guess I kind of failed. But the amount of information that's out there on YouTube about game stores or distribution or TCGs in general, there's not a lot of great information being passed down. Why? Because game store owners are busy and we have just everything else we're thinking about. The last thing most of us want to do is sit down and talk to a camera and be like, oh, hey, this is why we do things how we do them, because this is why it makes business sense to do it. Um, Early on in my YouTube career, and again, I got lucky. As right time, right place, YouTube was popping off on Pokemon, which is basically the game of choice for me, and just what I invest so much time in trying to deal with and understand. So at the time, I got lucky, was making content about being a game store owner and like the trials and tribulations, I guess, for over dramatize it, but of like what it was to have a business in this type of environment. And then the boom happened. Okay, this is crazy. I can't get product, all this stuff. Trying to explain to people, hey, why my prices are what they are. Why do I price things at market instead of at MSRP? Because I have to have my shelves filled, right? Because I'm
Mhm.
not a game store if I don't have games in them. I'm not a Pokemon store if I don't have Pokemon in my store. Um, all these like concepts that are like taken at as like a constant now, and
Right.
people are like, at the time when I was making that content, people were revolting about hearing this because it wasn't game stores like watching my content; it was consumers.
Mhm.
But now you talk about and you see other people that have come into the space, which is great. I'm not like I am not the one to like shoulder the burden of this. You have Rudy from Alpha Investments and all these other people. I don't, I'm not gonna just name everybody because I'm gonna miss people. But people that are talking about, hey, we do this because of Y, and because I have to, if I want to stay in business, I got to do this. Um, just having people understand, like we're all in the same marketplace. It's all bigger than us. Like me selling things at MSRP does absolutely nothing to like the grand scheme of the market that is moving, millions of products over the course of the year. Like trying to get people to understand the scope and how what my place is, or game stores in general's place is in this type of market, especially like right now. Um, it's important that people understand so they have perspective. Because it's very easy to be upset with people
I
to
mean,
be
that's
charging prices what they are. And again, I still get comments all the time. Every video I put out, man, look at this guy's prices. It's like what the heck? But they don't understand.
yeah.
Hey, I have to do that to keep stuff on my shelves, or else I don't have anything on my shelves. So, yeah, just stuff like that is really why the YouTube channel came to be. Um, and I think as one of the earlier people, or early people in the space of trying to talk about that kind of stuff, um, I don't know. I guess I succeeded because there's more content about it like that. But at the time, it was very, I got a lot of people uh, very unhappy about that because no one was saying the quiet part loud like I
Yeah.
was.
I'm glad you do it. I mean, it's one of the reasons I have the podcast because I wanted consumers to understand the inner workings of the game store
Sure.
and
Yeah.
how that really works. Because I knew from like having my business background, having went to college originally for that, I understood why the decisions were being made, but I kind of realized not everybody did, and they didn't understand the overhead you guys go through, and all the various expenses involved, and then how low the profit margins were. So that's where like my reason to start doing this, and I've enjoyed it thoroughly,
Sure.
and then hearing from your side of things, I mean, you're at another scale of the standard game store too, with 2 locations. You have a fairly big space, and you're doing it by yourself. So the YouTube channel, I figure, has that help for you to help explain these different concepts that are involved in running a game store. Like you mentioned, people still not understanding. I get that. But has it transpired in a way where maybe other stores reach out to you to talk about doing the same thing? You feel that you're seeing a impact on your store from having done the YouTube videos?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get people reaching out all the time, game stores all the time, reaching out to me and asking me questions, which I love. I love to do. It's something that, again, not was like the purpose, but I've definitely like grown into like enjoying that aspect of it because I enjoy the camaraderie and being able to talk to somebody about the things that I'm going through that they're also going through, right? Like we just like, not to say misery loves company, but people that understand what I'm going through. Maybe that a consumer or just a fan of Pokemon or TCGs would be trying to reach out about. When I put out the video about the IKEA shelves, and like that's like my greatest contribution to like the game store space. Apparently, it's just like because people love and I get people reaching out to me all the time about the IKEA drawers for bulk and that type of stuff. Those videos continue just to like get and be one of my best views videos of across my channel. Um, yeah, that kind of stuff is super rewarding to put out, and it's also super fun for you to make because I feel like I figured it out, or I have like a good understanding of like us. I had a problem and I solved the problem. Let me share it with everybody, you know. Uh, and that was like a big, and it's rewarding for me to do that. So I'm really happy that I was able to put out a video like that and do another video like that, and then it's like, hey, I'm gonna do like answer your questions that I've received in another video. Doing like a video series like that has been really fun and really rewarding. So definitely was not like the goal to like talk to other game stores owners and like bounce ideas back and forth, but has been a huge part of the channel here recently because of the type of content I've been putting out and the type of just environment that we're in. It's very confusing for somebody that's like, hey, I want to start a business. Um, how the hell am I supposed to get product? Because I can't. I was like, well, that's the thing. You just gotta buy it from the secondary market and hope for the best. And that's where else can I get that information? Probably there's not a lot of places that are talking about that kind of stuff. Uh, you know, things have evolved since I've opened my business. Since even like as far as like Magic and other TCGs, how they've put things out and how distribution works and allocations work. The wave system was not a thing when I first started my store. We didn't get product in waves. I didn't know. All that stuff. It's helpful to have somebody that explain it and like go through it and like, yeah, I've been around, right? I'm definitely not the best. I'm definitely not the biggest. I'm definitely not making the most money, but I have experience and stuff I can share and talk about. So that's a big part of what I do now on the channel is talk to other game store owners. And I try not to use it as like a place to vent, but I definitely do like, man, I'm feeling hot about something. I'm going to make a video about it and try to like not make it super aggressive, but keep it in my perspective, or at least a game store owner perspective. I think is what people come to see.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, people are going to want to see, what are you dealing with on a day-to-day basis? And by you sharing that, I think it's the best way to go. I mean, that builds that trustworthiness for you as a store.
Yeah.
And, when you're talking to these other stores and, like you mentioned, distribution, getting product, is there any way to communicate, say, with Pokemon Company or Wizards? Like, do they have, maybe even for the bigger stores like yourselves, who have been in this for a while, is there ever the opportunity to talk to them and to say, we need more product, this and that? I know I'm really oversimplifying it.
Quick break from this podcast to talk about our sponsor, Cardboard Shuffle. Cardboard Shuffle was our 10th podcast interview here at the Match Slip with store owner Mark. Mark has expanded his brand and has produced his own card sleeves called Shuffle Shields. Shuffle Shields come in packs of 100 premium matte card sleeves for standard size trading cards. They contain no PVC and are acid free. I have 17 packs of Shuffle Shields card sleeves to give away to listeners of the podcast. You'll need to send a screenshot that you're following Cardboard Shuffle on Facebook to frank@thematchslip.com.
It is kind of incredible that for the past, well, going on almost 30 years, right? Pokemon has kind of relied on game stores to introduce new players, have a community space for people to come and play their game, or to run high series and high level events for them. I'm talking about Pokemon, but all games in this realm. Judge, be judges, be good stewards of the hobby, and teach people not just how to play, but how to interact with each other. Having a social place for these fans to get together and meet up. Like I can continue on and on about how these TCGs have kind of relied on game stores. It is incredible to me that, particularly the bigger games, Pokemon, Magic, I have no rep I can talk to. I have nobody I can write to, and it's like, hey, I'm having this issue. I'm having this type of interaction with these people. What do you suggest me do? What would like? I don't even know like the policies of like, can I stream product early? Can I open product early? If I'm an organized Play Store, can I stream on the early hobby release date, or do I have to wait till that Friday? I have no one to reach out to. I have reached out to with support tickets to ask. People would say they'd get back to me after like 3 weeks, and then they never did. It's incredible to me that these companies have such reliance on game stores, but I have no good way of contacting them other than like the occasional like survey that they put out, like, oh hey, we want to hear from you about whatever. Wizards is pretty good about that. But yeah, the smaller TCGs are kind of better. Flesh and Blood is great. I have a guy that I can immediately talk to.
Oh, good.
Flesh and Blood is good about that. Yu-Gi-Oh has like a pretty good support system that I can reach out to. But yeah, I used to have like they have like a regional operations person for like Pokemon.
Okay.
But last 3 times I've tried to email that guy, I haven't heard from him. So I don't even know if he's still there. No idea. And then yeah, Wizards is just kind of like I don't know. It's there's a Facebook page, a Facebook group that you can talk to and ask some questions, and they're pretty good about responding and uh, talking to and answering questions about that. But yeah, Pokemon is the absolute worst about. I have no way of contacting them from a like, hey, I own a store. I have a store related question. Can I talk to somebody about it? And it's really weird.
Wild.
Really weird that that's not a thing. Like I said, I did have a guy, but no response in the past 3 that I've emails that I've sent to him. So weird.
Yeah, that's
really weird.
unfortunate.
Yeah. You would think I would. You think they'd like it'd be a priority for them. But yeah, if there is somebody, I don't know who it is.
And I'm curious too, because you had mentioned Pokemon's like your favorite game.
Yeah.
And being in the game store industry, I've always wondered, you obviously still do it because it's something you love. You love growing your business too. How does that change your relationship with the game, being in it, how deep you are, like in terms of what you have to do on a day to day? I know it may limit, those times where you can, say, enjoy a set like you did when you were just a consumer.
Sure.
So I'm curious, how do you balance those two things when this is your favorite game, but you're running the business and that's what really takes up much of your time? Do you kind of lose that ability to engage like you used to?
Yeah, I mean, with Pokemon, I do at least on Sundays I do get to sit down and play in our local tournament because I'm not running it. Any sort of like high level event like a league challenge or league cup, which is kind of like for points for people that don't know Pokemon. I can't play in those events, but in like the weeklies, if somebody else is running the event, I can play in it, right? So I do get to interact with it a little bit, and at least enjoy it. But people want to say, "Oh, you must be making so much money with these prices being what they are." Not really. and I also don't get to interact with the cards as much. You know, people aren't trading cards in to get more packs, which used to be like the game store staple. So I don't get to see a lot of the cards. I don't get to see a lot of the stuff coming to the store because, you know, as soon as I do, it's either gone and out of there, or and I'm not able to see my customers interact with the stuff as well because no one's buying $9 packs of Pokemon cards. I do for my customers that come in and play. I do if they want to get store credit instead of packs, they can because the product just isn't there, and it's more beneficial to me because instead of being out at an $8 pack of Pokemon cards, I'm only out the $5 that I give back in store credit or whatever, right? So, but that means that they're also not interacting with it because they're just trading it back in. They're not opening cards. I'm not getting that trade in from them as well that I would be normally getting. So people think I'm eating so good because I'm making all this money on every booster box I sell, but it's just like it's not that way because I'd much rather have people trading stuff into me, having singles, make better margins on my
Right.
singles, and get those singles in the store so I can move those and have those for players. If I don't get or like if I don't open boxes like for streaming people or where I ship the hits to people and then I keep the bulk, I wouldn't have bulk for them to go through because I'm not going to open a $300 booster box for singles. There's no way I'm making my money back. So I'm not getting as much product for my players and stuff. Anyways, they're not being as well supported as they should be or have been traditionally, and that feels bad too because they lose out on that type of interaction and experience with it as well. Part of the experience is, as a player, hey, I want a booster box, sick. Now I can rip all these packs and get all these cards and get all cool stuff and kind of bling out my deck, right? No one's buying $500 Mewtwo's to put in their deck.
Yeah.
Especially when you need like 3 or 4 of them in a deck. Nobody's doing that, and it feels bad because that's supposed to be the part of the fun of it. Is like, hey, I'm leveling up. I'm making my deck cooler, right? And I'm really investing in making this a cool deck that I feel good about playing. Everybody's playing with base rarities because they don't want to pay the money, and nobody's opening packs. So it's just like it feels bad because it's not what it used to be either, and that's bad for retention. Some of my other than pre-releases for Pokemon, I'm having the lowest attendance I've ever had because people are just not interacting with it in a fun way anymore. It's all transactional. It's all based on the value of things, and it feels bad. It's not fun like it used to be. It's not fun for me either because I love running events. I love pre-releases. Pre-releases are my favorite because we all get to see the cards early. We all get excited. My favorite, absolute best part of owning a game store is pre-releases because it brings all the people out of the woodwork that I haven't seen in since the last pre-release. They all come in because they want to see the new cards. That's fun. Not because it's valuable, right? But because they like Pokemon and they think it's cool and they're having a good time. Far more enjoyable of experience to have that and me be able to give packs away and give out extra packs to people at the end for coming in and to thank them for playing with me. And now I get so little product and so little at pre-releases. I can't even give out extra packs at the end. Outside of the 3 that I'm supposed to. I normally give extras. I'll give away door prizes or something like that. I don't get enough kits to even do that anymore, which feels terrible. So it ruins a lot of the fun for me as well. So yeah, as far as the enjoyment of these games anymore, the money part of it being expensive and not available, it really does dampen the experience for the players and the people that come out and play, and for me too, because that's what I'm here for, right? I'm here for building the community. I know it's crazy when I'm selling booster boxes for the price that I am, and I'm selling them for $250, but then that money's gone. I don't get the back because it's gone. It doesn't come back into the ecosystem with singles or anything like that. Once I do that one sale, it's gone. Whereas before, I'd have people trading packs in, I'd trading singles in, back and forth multiple times, get more packs. I don't have that same economy that I do or I've had in the past. It's that one transaction and then it's over. I never see those cards and those packs or boxes or the singles ever again. So it's all that stuff it feels really bad. as far as like what it used to be.
Yeah, that could definitely be a challenge to have to deal with. But when you look at, say, the flip side of things, because there's obviously always the challenges with a game store, how things were versus what they became, and then how you used to get product in.
Yep.
You have all those things that you already deal with on a day-to-day basis. What is something from your vantage point that has been going, though, really well lately, that either it could be something that surprised you or something that you've kind of have had in the woodwork for a while that you're kind of like seeing your fruits of your labor from?
One thing that I do really enjoy is, especially with Pokemon. Again, sorry, I'm just a Pokemon. Uh, it's what I really enjoy and care about. Um, the multi-generational aspect of Pokemon. Whereas people like, I'm 37. Uh, I grew up with Pokemon. Uh, I have kids. I've had kids grow up and play with Pokemon, and I love seeing a dad or a mom and their kids come in and have that type of like interaction where they both are looking at this. They both think it's cool. Like you don't have to be like super into Pokemon. If you grew up with it, you have so much sort of nostalgia attachment to it, right? So kids are really into it right now, and that's a big thing. And it's as popular as it's ever been. There's more way to interact with it with like Pocket and Pokemon Go. Obviously, was a huge, huge boon for people just interacting with Pokemon on a more daily basis. But that aspect of like seeing people come in with their kids, have it be multi-generational, collecting together, completing binder sets together, opening packs together. That's what it's all about. Like really, for real. Like that is such a good indicator of like, man, I don't have to worry about closing in 3 years because Pokemon's a fad. Once you get like the multi-generational aspect of it, like I think we're going to be okay. Like regardless of whatever happens, people are still going to love Pokemon. And that's always the rewarding thing is like being a part of that and having like that be what my store is known for and like the identity of my store of people like associating like my store with a great time and like hanging out together. I have people that come in every week, on the weekends. This is where they spend their weekends is at my store, right? That's huge. That's a huge thing for me. That's a huge win because that means that I'm doing something right. Right. So I think that's like a huge part of thing that, and all the stuff and the chaos that's going on and economic issues and stuff like that, people can still come down to my store on the weekends, have a great time, buy a couple packs, play games, run in a tournament, have fun, and it's relatively low cost, and it's with their friends, and they can do things together, and it not be where you have to like go to a movie or a theme park or anything like that. It's $20-30, for most people to come out and play and have some fun. Totally reasonable way of spending the weekend. So that type of stuff is what I love and why, like the boon of Pokemon and stuff like that. The amount of people that I see and like have like made a ritual of coming to my stores, whether it's once a week or once a month or whatever it is. Just seeing the same people come in over and over and over just reinforces to me that I'm doing something right, which is good. So I love that aspect of it, and that's like I kind of like check those as like little wins in my head. It's like, hey, this guy first time he was in the other day, and now he's back in again. Like that's a win for me. I think most retail spots, I don't know what the actual like phrasing or whatever it is, but easy to get somebody in for the first time, but getting them to return over and over is exponentially harder. The second time, the third time, the fourth time. So if I can ever do that or get that kind of like number up and like people interacting with my business on a multiple frequency basis, whether it's once a month or whatever it is, that's a win. That's a good thing. I am bucking the trend of what most retailers get. So again, that's a notch in the win column for me when that happens.
Absolutely. And the multi-generational aspect of Pokemon, it's a phenomenal point you made. Something I didn't even think of, but yeah, it transcends generations. It's one of those things that just truly never gets old. And I'm very happy to see that too, because Pokemon is something I also enjoy.
Sure.
With your stores, one of the unique aspects I think you have to it, and if there's something else, unique that you feel is, to your store, feel free to share. But one of the ones that stood out to me, which I liked, I thought it was a nice service, is, there's obviously stores that delve into video games. Not many that I've spoken to, but I know you mentioned your store does, and you have the repair service aspect to it. Was that baked into the store from the beginning, and how does that do for the business side of things?
Yeah, it wasn't baked in from the beginning. It's always something that we've done. Like I said, my former business partner, that was his idea and his kind of aspect of it, and it's having that done in house is super rare. Most people, if you want to get like, I don't know, your HDMI port fixed on your PS4, a lot of times the solution is to ship it out somewhere, and and have them have to the hassle of shipping it and sending it back and doing that back and forth. Oh, if it didn't work or something, maybe there's another issue that popped up. I gotta send it back again, like that type of stuff. That's definitely something that people appreciate, having something locally. And my business partner has left, but I found some other people that do repairs as well, and he's doing repairs for me as well. Since then, he's done some other stuff. He's scaled back a little bit, but he's still helping me out on that kind of stuff. So it's still something I'm able to offer. So that definitely does set us apart, especially video game wise. Video games are weird. They get really streaky, where people are interested and sometimes not. As we get older and older, and more console generations, and have that stuff be digitized. I think there's still going to be interest in that stuff. I still sell plenty of like Super Nintendo games and 64 games and stuff like that. But as we get older and older, obviously, it's all going to get digitized, right? So I'm not like looking to get rid of video games anytime soon, but it's definitely, you see the writing on the wall of like how long it's going to stay relevant, or people are going to care. So we'll see what video games hold, but I think it definitely gives the store another little avenue, a little way of gaining people that if you like video games, you probably like Magic, or you like Pokemon, or you like anime, or you like Gundams, or there's a lot of good crossover there with video game players. So obviously, it's a great thing to have in your store if you are able to accommodate it. It can be kind of intimidating. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. There's a lot of things like you can buy a broken system, or you can buy discs that are bad, or somebody's going to intentionally trade you a fake or something like that to try to get one over on you. There's a lot of pitfalls you can fall into. But yeah, luckily it's always been something that we've had, so it's not something that we have had to like worry about to kind of train our employees, because they also have been around it all their lives as well. So it's kind of like a nice thing. But in 5 years, in 10 years, is that going to be a bigger problem down the road? Maybe. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I love video games. I think they're great. That's another thing that I buy, secondhand from people and then sell again. So you can kind of control your own profit margins there on how aggressive you want to be. And again, it's fleeting. The game shops are closing every day. Other types of businesses like this, like I said, we took over a spot that did video games, and they closed. So it's not a guaranteed slam dunk thing to carry, but it definitely does help, especially like, okay, I can't get TCGs. Let me lean into video games a little bit more. Push this stuff a little bit harder. Buy this a little bit more aggressively. We can kind of move back and forth, and kind of, if something's struggling, I can it gives me another little thing to focus on, or if I have a bunch of stuff, I can move on online, maybe clear that out and get the capital back. The video games are a great spot to do that kind of stuff. Anybody that doesn't carry video games, you should probably look into it. I think it's still a very cool industry, and like I said, it adds a lot to your store. It's like board games. Board games are absolutely terrible to sell in a game store. You make no money. It's guaranteed to be cheaper on Amazon. You gain nothing by having them in your store, other than they look cool on your shelves, and it kind of like cements you as like a game store. We dropped our board games a long while back, but it was cool to have them in store just because it added like to the feel of like, hey, this is a game store. I sold maybe one of each of the board games a year, but like they were there if somebody wanted them. They looked cool on the shelves. So, yeah, another category that's like not great. Video games is way better. If you had to pick one, board games or video games, like what are we doing? Video games every time. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things that like there's a lot of good crossover. People that like D&D, like board games and stuff like that too. But yeah, there's definitely some other categories and stuff that you think of a game store, but not always making the best business sense to carry. So that's definitely been one of the things here recently.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the games you have to play, in terms of determining what is going to sell, what has the profit margin necessary to keep the store running. And you clearly have done that. I mean, then you factor in you have the second store on top of it. And I'm guessing a lot of those smart decisions that you've made, knowing what to carry, what to drop, have enabled the second store. So what does your day-to-day operations become when you have two stores to oversee? And would you say that because of the decisions you've made over the years that enabled the second store?
Yeah. If you'd said when I started this business, hey, you're gonna sell D&D, and you're gonna sell D&D minis, I didn't even know. I knew nothing about D&D. I knew nothing about D&D minis. That's kind of like came and went as well because of D&D is also moving to a digital in a lot of ways and having digital support because of the like pandemic and people were having to be online instead of meeting up in person. So that field kind of advanced very very quickly. But yeah, I used to have an entire wall of D&D miniatures, and again, a lot of them sold okay. There's D&D miniature that I bought and didn't sell a single one of them. So again, some that you associate with stores, but it's not always the best moneymakers. So yeah, we scaled that down quite a bit. I still carry like the main books, and like when the new book comes out, I'll carry that for D&D. Some of the like blind box of like the painted miniatures do well, but yeah, you definitely have to like pick and choose. Don't get caught up too much in what you want or what you like. Obviously, carry what you want. If money's not an issue, carry what you want. It builds the identity of your store. And again, somebody might buy a D&D book, but they might also have came in and bought 2 boxes of Pokemon a month. So it's not always a one-to-one. Hey, this is I have to sell this 1 unit a month to make it worth my time. Not always. It's not always that way. But you definitely got to follow the trends, make sure you're up on that kind of stuff, and kind of keep tabs on what is hot and what people are interested in buying, what are bringing people in. Great example. We missed Labubus. But Labubus have kind of come and gone already. So did I dodge a bullet by not spending $10,000 on Labubus, or did I miss out on making $30,000 on Labubus? I don't know. Hard to tell. Definitely something that I do think about whenever some weird trend pops up like that, right? Whether or not it's something that I want to do. Traditionally, blind box stuff does very well. I sell blind box stuff all the time. Booster packs are literally blind boxes, so like a lot of similar crossover with that. It would have made a lot of sense. A lot of stores that are like me did carry Labubus. Are they sitting on a back stock of them? Hopefully they didn't buy pallets of them because I don't know how well it's doing now. But stuff like that, you got always ought to be really meticulous and dip your toes and carry the main line of whatever it is and see what happens, and then go deeper. Never buy an entire line of something to hopefully stock your shelves, and then you get stuck with them, and then you got to clearance them out or lose money on them to kind of get rid of them. It's a lot of that type of like little micro decisions of, hey, this sold very well. Let's buy some more and expand a little bit, see how else that stuff does. Anime was very very hot for a little bit too, doing figures and stuff like that. Now there's a whole glut of anime figures out there, They have Goku in so many figure in poses. I don't even know like how many there could be out there, but there's a lot of them. Am I going to stock every Goku figure? No, it doesn't make sense to do that. Don't do that. But if something sells and I sell out the Gokus, then yeah, I'm going to buy some more Gokus, and maybe I'll buy another pose or another model of him. It's a lot of that stuff, and it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time, and then you couple that with the tariffs and things like that. I'm having to pay more for things. I figure that may have been $25 before. Now it's $35 because of the import taxes and stuff on that I'm having to pay. There's a lot of that stuff. And you got to think of like, okay, at a $25 price point, this figure did amazing. At a $35 price point, does it do the same amount or just as good? Not always the case. Especially with people being more price conscious of that kind of stuff too. All these things you have to figure out and kind of think about as you stock stuff for your store. I try not to ever have empty shelves, but I try to fill the shelves with the best of a wide variety of things so we can see what does well and what doesn't. And then we kind of, turn the knobs here and there of what does well and what doesn't. That's a lot of what this business is getting something to try and seeing what happens, then doing your best to try to get back in stock if it does sell out, or if you get stuck with it, hey, at least you didn't go and spend a bunch of money on it. And then that's what Black Friday and sales like that are for. So there's a lot of that in this industry for sure.
Do you utilize the two stores in separate ways, or is it just another location?
It's very difficult. People think, oh, I'm just gonna. It's like hitting copy on the fax machine or on a copy, on the printer and saying, hey, duplicate this. It's not just that easy. There's a lot of logistics to that. Moving things back and forth. Maybe this store moves Digimon TCG really well, but the other one doesn't. Okay, no, I got to push this stuff over here and try to figure that out. Try to even it out. Maybe the selection for GameCube is really low at our main store. I got to pull from the other store and try to supplement that. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of stuff that back and forth. Not just even if you were far enough away to order that stuff. How do you balance inventory? If I have 7 Mario 64s at one location, sure, I want to spread the love around if the other location doesn't have any. But that takes time. That takes logistics. It takes somebody physically going in and saying, hey, let me compare the numbers here. There's a lot of that. It's a lot of energy for having multiple locations. If I had to do it all over again, would I rather have a bigger single store or would I have multiple locations? And I don't know the answer to that, honestly. It's really, really hard to know. I would probably say I would probably stick with the main store, with the one store, and try to push more online and do that and kind of make that one store the best store it could be. Kind of really lean into making that a good hub for us to work out of. That maybe would have been the better idea.
It must be rewarding though, having 2 locations and seeing like the success that you've built for the store.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, when we first opened the second store, people were like, "Oh, I'm so glad it's on this side of town. I don't have to drive half an hour to go to the one that was way out there." Now it's close to me, and people loved it. It does. It's you think the clientele would you kind of get a little boost on that, but no, it's just like starting off a new store. You have to build that location. There's still tons of people that walk into my store over there that say, "Oh man, I didn't even know this was over here. I didn't know you guys were here." It's very hard getting your name out there and getting established in a location. And
that's a great point. I mean, it's funny when you said that. What it made me think about was it. That the brand name, which seems to be the challenge. Like if you take a Walmart, they open another Walmart that just people flock to it. They know the brand name, but
Yeah.
like you mentioned, you put your store in a different part of town. Now you have to build that up as if it's its own store, but it almost ties back to your whole thesis of everything you're doing for the recognition and trust of the brand name so that you can open another store and people just, go to it like they would a Walmart. I think I'm
exactly.
Is that what you're thinking? Okay.
Yeah. And that's why maybe we put the cart before the horse on that, without having that type of like, branding and stuff like that and recognition, and really putting a lot of effort and time into saying what our store is so that people understood. And then you got to think like, too, okay, those people that were happy to not have to drive that half an hour, would they still have done it if that other store wasn't there? They surely would have still made the drive, right? And so I'm pulling business from my main location to this other location, but then I have twice the operating costs. It's kind of like, am I really gaining this? And I would say just this year, we are finally getting to the point where we're profiting at this new store. It was very, very difficult to get people in on this new location. And again, it did kind of feel like we were pulling people away from the main store to this one, but we're just paying more money to do it. And it's something to think about. Our lease is up here at the December of next year. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I honestly, I go back and forth on it a lot, whether or not I just want to go back down to one store and just make that the best dang store I can make it, or do I want to open up a third location? I'm going in between both of those extremes, and it's yeah,
The
it's
first store
really
was
difficult.
paying for the second one for a while.
Very much so. Still carries a lot. The main store does, definitely, it does. And even then, like I said, I'm shipping game consoles and games to the other location that because they don't get the trade-ins that the other location does. So yeah, am I really stealing from one to feed the other? And what is that cost wise? Am I actually making money? Am I just spreading my inventory across two locations? I don't know. It's hard to know.
Would you have the opportunity to say you decided to consolidate it back into just the single main store? Could then you use that money to expand the existing store to make it bigger, or are you in a position where your building currently is where you wouldn't be able to expand it more?
I don't know if I would see. That's the thing. I don't even know if I need to expand it. 7,000 square feet is so much space.
It is.
If we really wanted to optimize and do things really, really efficiently and do stuff like that, we could definitely do more to that space. Maybe instead of having a second location, I just we haven't talked about it at all, but like live streaming. Live streaming is such a untapped market. I think it's very much something that is inevitable, kind of in especially for like TCGs and that kind of space. I think it's a huge thing that's not going away, and early adopters are kind of being rewarded here a little bit, but it's also a space that we see people go into it all the time, every day. There's more and more people getting on these platforms of streaming. So, what if I took those people, had it all in house, and then, I had live streaming rooms, and had that main store, and still just have that main store. I don't know. There's so many options, which is
So it's on the top of your mind of
always,
something to consider.
always. It's like the number one thing I'm trying to figure out right now, because they are going to come knocking here and probably in December, be like, hey, are you going to renew or what? And I have to make a decision. So yeah, it's something I'm constantly thinking about all the time.
It's one of those things where if you chose to keep it, you could almost make, I mean, maybe it's not treated as a regular store, or maybe it's something where it is more of the streaming aspect of it. It can almost be repurposed if you chose to go that route.
Absolutely. It'd be very easy to do that. There's so many things that in so many different ways that this industry is evolving. From just a couple of glass cases and folding tables in the middle of the room, right? Gaming cafes, barcades. People that have pinball machines and that type of stuff. There's so many options you can go and so many routes you can do. If you want to just do huge sports card stores, they're building entire streaming rooms, entire places, and they're like making it interactable. When you come to the store, you can there's like a cutout in the wall, and you can watch them through plexiglass on the wall and watch them live stream. and you can like be interactive with that as well. You could be watching their live stream in their store at the same time. Sure, that's a thing that is happening across the country right now, and for these people that are early adopters. Um, yeah, there's so many options. There's so many different ways to go about, building a business like this. I don't know what the answer is, but we're going to find out one way or another. We're going to figure it out.
Definitely, it's very interesting to see where the industry, like the add-ons to it, like the live shopping, is where that's going, and just kind of having to roll with that. And you see some of the money that people make from doing it. It's like almost going to be, it seems like, an added layer of a revenue stream for game stores as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's very appealing. It's very, very low cost of entry. Like I don't have to pay another lease. I don't have to pay anything. Like I don't have to, um, I could just plop one of my employees that are super animated and know things very well, and turn the camera on, and it's super low cost, low barrier entry to get that going. That's what makes it so appealing, and why it also, if you have a brand, you have an advantage on that aspect of trying to just win people over, get people into your business, and people interested in going to your stream over somebody else's. Another reason why it's so important to get your branding and get your name out there, so people say, "Oh, hey, Cardinal, they're on eBay Live, they're on whatnot, they're on whatever." It's a huge part of it.
Yeah,
because it's just another easy way of revenue to move more products.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and with that in mind, thinking towards the future, what are some future plans you have in mind, whether big or small, for the store and the brand at large?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, live streaming is definitely going to be something that I wanted to kind of double down on. I already have a live streaming business that I kind of opted into and kind of I'm helping get up and running. It's doing okay. It's just hard. It's hard to get a foothold. It's hard to get something established. Even like these platforms, they don't do a great job at like getting the names out there, trying to grow their audiences. It's hard. It's hard to get people's attention online. It's very difficult. I've done even on my YouTube channel. I did pack breaks and stuff on there. I've done. There's other options. You can go. There's people that do very very well on TikTok and opening stuff on TikTok. Whatnot. eBay Live. Fanatics is doing a great job on a lot of their stuff that they're doing on their platform. Doing digital vault, like mystery bags and stuff like that, where you open a virtual pack, you get a card that's in their vault, and then if you don't want the card, you can sell it back to them at like 80%, and then re-roll. Like it's crazy. It's crazy the things that are out there and what's coming up on the um, web store type stuff. I was pretty leery and pretty like skeptical, but I think it's already proven itself to be kind of like, if you can make it entertaining and do it right, that it would be a big part of your business and an actual viable arm for a business like mine.
Absolutely, I think it could work for your business for sure. And I'm looking forward to seeing if you choose to do it down the line, because I think it would be great. But as we kind of wrap up here, Mason, I want to thank you for coming on the show, and I wanted to kind of leave the floor here for you for any final words you'd like to say, and where people could learn more about the store, find you guys online, etc.
Oh yeah, appreciate you having me on, Frank. It's so great to sit down. I could do another 4 hours if you'd let me.
Yeah, I could do
that's
so
the thing.
too.
I could. I have no shortage of people, or questions and things that we can talk about for sure. Yeah, if anybody ever wants to reach out to me personally, if you have a game store or anything like that, you have any questions, happy to have an email. Send me an email, Mason at CNA, like Cardinal, CNAgames.com. Send me an email. Happy to talk to people. Otherwise, we are online. If you guys want to support the store out that way, cnagames.com. I am on YouTube. That's where I do a lot of my social media and stuff like that. It's Cardinal Gaming on YouTube. And like I said, we did start doing stuff on eBay Live. It's card and all, like card ampersand all. just kind of like divide the branding a little bit differently on that. But we do eBay Live on that as well. So all kinds of places to support me and my store, and hopefully you'll be seeing me grow. And if you guys want to be part of it, happy to have you guys along. It'd be great.
Excellent. Well, thanks again, Mason, for coming on the show.
Absolutely, Frank. Thanks so much.